All right, guys, we are live with the what are we calling ourselves? Can we have like a cool band name?
I thought
Can
we were
we
the Four Horsemen or the Knee Homeboys, we could call them.
the Neo?
Yeah, teriyaki boys or something like that. We'll come up with a
Yes.
different sauce. That's be a different sauce.
Yeah, we need a band name for sure.
We need a band name. But what's
Yeah.
going on, guys? It's been a while. I hope that we get to do more of these. We can like establish a schedule at least like once a month that we can all get together. It'd be cool. Or every other month if you guys aren't sick and tired of me already. But what's going on? Should we go around the round table, introduce your guys' selves in case, I don't know. They know who we are. They know who all you guys are.
Chimera Q doesn't know who I am. He's like, I've never seen Shug before. He probably thinks I'm Top Sun, or he doesn't know I'm Top Sun Daddy.
He probably thinks you're that sketchy guy in the PFP, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. The one that Heart Attack brought a knife to the meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Shug. I have a YouTube channel. I live in Japan. Been collecting for 7 years now. So I collect mostly Top Sun cards. That's how Top Sun Daddy came about.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Cool. Brandon?
Just intros, right?
Yeah, just quick intro. Yeah.
Yeah, so Blackwire here. I don't have a YouTube channel, but I do post a lot on Instagram, so you can see my tag right there. But yeah, just happy to be here. Spent a long time in Japan. Also spent quite a bit of time in Korea. So just enjoying myself and enjoying the conversation with these guys.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you being here, bro.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? I'm Ibex, or Nick. I live in Kyoto. I've been in Japan since 2016. Back collecting since late 21. Yeah, my favorite card type is the older Japanese exclusive stuff. It's always been my thing. Big fan of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I upload sometimes every now and then.
It's peak content when you do upload, though.
It's peak.
Yeah.
Very humble. Yeah.
Very humble for sure. Absolute peak. So we got actual topics. I don't know if I even told you guys the topics, typical Henry fashion. But it's like kind of stuff we kind of been having debates and arguments, fun arguments, friendly arguments. I just, before we start, I want to, what have you guys been buying? I want to get into your heads really quick, maybe kind of show off some stuff for your collection. I know Brandon just got a 9,000 PSA cards back, so we can kind of talk about that. But what have you guys been collecting? What have you guys been grabbing?
Gold stars.
Gold stars.
Jack has been going crazy.
Flex on Henry a little bit right here.
No,
look at that.
Damn,
oh my God.
Got to let it out of the sleeve to breathe. I know people are probably freaking out right now. Last time I did this, somebody's like, it's not even in a sleeve. What?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Hashtag touch a card.
Yeah, right. Picked up the Ray. I showed this off on the Weekly Weedle, the other channel I have with sleeve no card behind. I got a PSA 9 Torchic first ed.
Crazy stuff.
Probably my favorite gold star, I think, behind the Ray is probably second. I was undecided for a while, but I think Torchic is probably my favorite gold star.
You know, I think that graded guard is actually cooler than the Torchic.
Dude, it almost is. Dude, I'm so addicted to graded guards now. I'm even on the Phantom cases now. I got this in a Phantom case.
Oh, that's rage bait.
It's a sickness.
You should make one of those.
Hey, man, you gotta put some plastic on that. That's too raw.
I know, right? I used to be one of those people though that was giving shit to people in the comments about having this, and now I'm one of these people.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then I used to have that Gold Star Ray, man. I miss it so much. It's one of those ones that, like, I think, do I want to buy it back? But have I just missed the train? And I think I missed a train on it. I think I'm just gonna let it go. And then just try to focus on some other cards and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to, at these prices, to like justify them being okay. What is that? The rainbow?
The new one that just came out.
Oh, I'm not that up to date with them. I just kind of go on eBay and see what looks cool, and then I buy them secondhand.
Is that the first edition Shadowless version or something?
Here's a couple other pickups that I gotten recently. I got the Play Promo Mew. This Scramble Gyarados, Korokoro Mew.
Rage bait.
Gold Star Mewtwo, Gold Star Pika,
Bro, what are
Gold
you
Star
holding on to that
Alakazam,
Pika
Oh
for
my
me,
god. All right, we're cutting
Wasaki
Shug off.
Alakazam. These are I just wanted to come on here and flex. I'm out. That was it. I'll see you guys later. No.
You're gonna
He doesn't know
love
what's
to see
coming.
what I bought.
Poverty tears. Poverty tier over here. Holy shit.
This is most of this, for people that are wondering, this isn't all like collection stuff. I started vending and I went heavy into vending. So the majority of this, aside from the Torchic and the Gold Star Ray, all the other stuff is stuff I'm going to vend.
Okay.
Not PC
so,
stuff.
So it makes it a little bit more acceptable.
I
for
can't afford to keep it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. Yeah. I need to sell it to make money back.
God,
Just hold on to that Pika for me, man.
Did you buy a pretty good percentage to flip?
Dude, I'm making a killing. So I buy them on Mercari, and even though I'm in Japan, I vend on a military base, so it's all US people, and they don't know how to use the Japanese platforms to buy stuff, or they don't have a Japanese address because they live on base, so they can't buy. And I tried telling people they don't want to use Japanese comps though. They're like, no, I'm using collector. And so I was like, fine by me. I'm doubling my money almost on some of these cards. I made my last show, I spent $5K and I made 4K. So I walked out with 9K that show in 4 hours.
God, bro.
It's like I don't know. It's a crazy vending hack, and it just a unique situation that I'm in over here.
You can just hire me to clean your case with I'll come with a Windex every like couple.
Oh my god!
You could pay me in common Rayquaza cards.
That's funny. Anyway,
what you been picking up, Nick? We'll save Brandon for last.
Oh man, you're not ready for the heat.
Dude, I know you have good cards. Dude, the GXs are sick though.
Dang, I'm a huge Genesect fan. I love Genesect.
Yeah, Genesect is my favorite bug type.
Yeah,
they're cool. They're like $3-5, you know.
Hell yeah!
And then some other things, like that's it. When this type of market, like I'm not doing the vending stuff like Shug, so I'm like very picky with what I buy, and so like I'm not spending much on like crazy stuff these days. But I bought some like older minty cards. They're pretty cool. Got the Southern Islands Bulbasaur.
Oh, sick!
And of course, full transparency with Ibex, you can see the prices, right? Got this guy.
Sick. I love Ivysaur.
Nice. That's the Bulbasaur VHS deck.
Yeah. No, sorry, the Ivysaur.
No,
and then Nick, do you normally keep your? I'm sorry for cutting you off. Do you normally keep your tags on your Pokemon cards, or do you normally take those price tags off?
Sometimes I keep them. Sometimes I take them off. Just depends on the mood.
Yeah, I normally if the price tag is on one side in the front, I normally flip it to the back and then keep it in. If it's a personal collection card, and I keep that price tag on there just so I remember like how much I bought it for. And it's really nice to see how things progress over time. So it's really
I do that sometimes. Yeah, I do that sometimes. And depending on where the topics go today, I might have a pretty neat example. But yeah, this Suicune rare PDG Akihabara minty find these days, like something actually clean.
Love that card.
And then I love this guy.
Ooh, the stadium, Imakuni.
The stadium, that's sick.
Imakuni, Lucky Stadium. 2,000 yen seems crazy to me still, but that's just how much these go for nowadays in clean condition. But yeah,
it's nice.
So a little something there, not much.
You think it's too much, 2,000 yen, or not enough?
In this market, I think it's fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. But it just feels crazy to me that Lucky Stadium trainer card is 2,000 yen.
Hey, Shug, can you pronounce Suicune for us again so Eric can lose his mind?
What's Suicune? Suicune.
I mean, I took this Eric out for his birthday, and he was like, "Dude, the way Shug pronounces Suicune just bothers me."
Suicune, yeah.
Oh no!
I used to say instead of Zapdos, I would say Zapados.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard your videos with that. I'm like, okay.
Good old Arceus. Arceus. That's the one that drives me crazy. But how about Brandon? Brandon, show and tell.
I'll show a couple things. So one of the things I've been in our chat, shout out to the Discord, by the way. If anyone hasn't seen Henry's Discord, you guys need to be in there, like for sure. Especially if you're here now and you're able to listen to what we're talking about here. You'll get a full dose of everything we talk about every single day inside of that thing. So shout out to the Discord there. But one of the things that's been going on inside the chats has been like PSA versus tag versus like all these different slabs, ARS and stuff. And so I've always wanted to get to the bottom of like, you know, which one is right for me, because honestly, like I don't really have a position at this point. I use PSA strictly for flips. It's not my collector's choice of slab. And so I've been really staring hard at ARS, Gimmicks, and a couple other slabs just to figure out like what's right for me. So one of the pickups I have is an ARS. This is an ARS 9. You know, of course, the Mega Dragonite here. Very beautiful. I love the way this slab looks. So this is the ARS portion here. Very beautiful. You can see that the grade is on the back. I actually like it that way because I care about the card. I really don't care what the grade is. And so this really helps me focus on why I actually got the card in the first place. Another thing I like is that it makes it a little bit harder for me to want to like sell it, because, you know, the PSA being so liquid, I think it makes me feel like, oh, I can just flip this anytime I want. Whereas these other slabs, I feel like it's a little bit tougher to do as far as like just going up. Everyone knows what PSA 10 means. So that's why I got that. And then I got this one. This is a Black Label Gimmicks slab here.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Henry for just sending his for submission. So this is a Gimmicks Black Label. I wanted to see the difference between an ARS and a Gimmicks. A few differences. This is actually a way lighter than the ARS slab. This one's very, very bulky, beefy and stuff. But I like the feel. It's very close to PSA's feel. And then once again, grades on the back, but just much lighter. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out which one I prefer, but I just wanted to pick those up. And then the last one, I know Henry's been waiting to see this one, is this baby right here.
What?
Yeah.
You had
what? Yeah.
That boy going. He said, "Oh, Shug, those cards were cute that you just showed. Hold my beer."
Yeah, the gold star.
That's crazy.
You know, but I'll keep it up for you guys. So this is one of those 151. Only released 1,151 copies of this card out there. This is that Mew. So I'm trying to get the light so you can see how the holo shines. Very beautiful card, Chinese exclusive. And so one reason I picked this one up, and I'll bring it up because I know I've talked about in this live before, or in a live before with Henry. I talked about selling my one of my Mewtwo trophy cards that was only 300 that were printed. But what people don't realize is the same story or the same argument that came out for this Mew card is the same situation that happened with the Mewtwo that I sold. So the Mewtwo used to be, there's only 340 copies printed in the world. But there was a reprint in Chinese. So what I did was I just went ahead and sold that Mewtwo, picked up the Chinese Mewtwo for like $30 or something like that. So now I have the same card that I used to have, and I sold that one for, I can't say, but over tens of that, like basically tens of thousands. And then I picked this one up. So the argument of like, oh, well, what if someone prints this in another language? It actually happened. And so this really doesn't, it minimizes my idea of what this is as far as a risk. Yeah. Because I basically already had an equivalent card anyway.
That's crazy, bro.
Very cool. Epic card.
Do you mind telling me how much the 9 goes for? I know the 10's like, you don't have to if you don't want to say, but like 10's like what, 25?
Sure. Oh, everyone's going to dime me out anyways. They can find it on the last
It's a PSA. No, yeah, 25K, right, for a 10?
So yeah, 25K for a 10 right now in Rising. There's so like these cards are selling like by the hour. If you look at the auctions, and one of the problems I find with like trying to price these cards is right now it's not up to date. And I checked it when I picked this card up. It's still in March. So some of the pricing is still showing March prices, but like I said, it's selling every hour. So this price could vary from when you look at it. It can vary from early March 9,000 to 20,000, depending on for a 9.
Wow.
And it just, it depends on when they update the eBay page to show the multiple last solds. But I can tell you, if you try to buy it right now, it's going to be 15. Like if you were to just try to pick it up right now.
God damn.
That's
a beautiful car.
Awesome. Yeah. I was looking at one the other day just because I was like, that'd be kind of cool to have. But then I was thinking about all the other vintage cards I could buy for that price. And I'm like, man, it's a tough choice. And I'd probably rather have like a Masaki and a 9 or something, Masaki Gengar. Or, but that's an awesome card. I was looking at it the other day and I was like, dude, that'd be cool to have because it, what, 1,510 copies?
Right. Oh, yes. Yep.
I saw one in person. That's as close as I'm gonna get to it. And I've never seen one at a card show ever again. That was like when it first came out. And yeah, insane. My favorite Mew card of all time, and that I'll never own, but maybe one day.
Yeah, it's up there for sure. I will say, like in person, it looks way better than the when you look at the online posts and stuff, it looks kind of flat. But the way this holo pops is very. It's almost like the gold Akira Gawa Crown Zenith cards in Japanese. It's got that kind of hollow feel to it. It's very, very strong as far as the quality that they did on the print.
Hell yeah, dude. Congrats. Major congrats.
Congrats
on an absolute grail.
Thanks.
Amazing card, yeah.
My turn.
Yeah, go for it.
There's actually just gifts. So shout out to I went golfing with Team Rocket Joey. He just gave me this, which is going crazy. I was like, you just giving this to me? He's like, yeah. Well, okay, cool. Thank you. It's like $160, $180 right now.
Dude, I think it's going crazy in Japan. I think it's going for 40,000 yen in Japan.
Oh, 280? Like USD? Yeah, it bumped up.
Yeah, so that was shout out to Team Rocket Joey for the love.
250.
Yes, what did I say I sold all mine for, Ibex? I pulled a mess up the other day and I sold mine for like half off.
Wow. Oh shit.
I said like 12 or 15 boxes of that, and I looked at the comps and I was like, holy shit, I made a mistake. I lost like $1,000.
And then he blessed me with this box as well. Very cool box. Yeah, well,
I like Wild Force.
Looks really good.
His favorite set.
So
dinosaurs.
Is that right?
Shout out to
is that your favorite?
No, he likes the dinosaurs.
Oh no, Eric. Yeah, Eric likes the dinosaurs. He loves
Eric, okay.
Yeah. No, not me. No. Dude,
I think it's a good set.
Can you guys tell me why is this going crazy right now? Was it short printed, Nick? Was it like
it's always been kind of hard to find sealed.
Yeah.
Really?
It was definitely not short printed. I mean, that one was so close to when people just gave up on buying boxes for actual investments. You could find it on a counter right next to the Wild Force and everything else. I think it wasn't really recognized, at least on my shelves in Tokyo, until after the Terrestrial Festival stuff was printed. And then after that, that's when I think people caught on. That's when it got a little bit more tight.
Yeah, that's when people wanted it. I remember picking up boxes off the shelf right when it came out, but then like a month later or something, everybody's like, well, I can't get any, what is this?
Super Electric
Breaker. Super Electric Breaker. Yeah. I couldn't, they were like, oh, where is it? I can't find it. And luckily it was right before everything just went crazy and I picked up what I could off the shelves.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I don't remember getting like massive reprints or it was just like, yeah, after it was gone initially, it was just, I don't know.
They were trying to keep up with Terrestrial Festival and everything else, no?
Yeah, I think so.
But I will say, I think that from what I remember, I think the Pikachu SAR at the time probably went for way higher. Even like, I don't remember the time of release between English and Japanese, but I do remember that the price was higher when it came out in Japanese versus when it came out in English. So I think it maintained its value a lot longer than English did.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy. Like when I was doing the opening videos, the Japanese box prices, like for Mask of Change and Super Electric Breaker, I'm like, it's just insane to me that it's pushing $200. Like I would never in my life pay $200 for that set. It's a decent set, but it's not. Yeah. I actually like Paradise Dragona better, and the Paradise Dragona booster box looks so much cooler. It's got like that aerial 3D view, like a Alolan Executor. It looks like super cool. So yeah, it just made no sense. And like Surging Sparks is like flat as hell over here in the States. So yeah, I don't know. I was like trying to put two and two together. I was like, damn, is this really $200? Pushing $200?
But to that point, I mean, because you bring up a good point, I do think that the Paradise Dragona set has like a little bit more flair to it. But
sure.
I think one thing you can do with the Japanese boxes that you can't do with the like the English boxes is like, if you know you're a Pikachu fan, you know exactly what box to pick up. Like there's no confusion about whether or not you need to go to Super Electric Breaker or you need to go to Paradise Dragona. And I think that there's a little bit you get more, but you also have more variety. So you don't like, I feel like you're kind of chopping it up a little bit if you were going to go for the English version of the set. And I think there's pros to that. There's also cons. I mean, you could argue either way, but I think that for those who know they are picking that setup for the Pikachu box, then they know that like picking it up in Japanese it is a good deal for them personally, whoever that person is.
I think that works for like for this case, like Super Electric Breaker and Paradise Dragona, but sometimes like Japanese, they kind of make it like complicated or like not so obvious. Like Starbirth is a good example. There's just an Arceus on the box, but it's the Charizard Altered is in there. You know, it's like it's just as much a Charizard set as it is an Arceus set, but it's just an Arceus in the box. It was a big what the heck kind of moment when that came out.
This was my favorite card from the set, the entire set.
I think mine's
I pulled the Melodic. It's with PSA right now, so it's probably going to be back in 2 years. But I think that's a really cool card. Like
I'll pull that up. Yeah, the Melodic is sick.
Yeah,
most beautiful Pokemon of all time, according to the Pokédex.
So somebody's gonna hate me, but I like the Hydreigon in the set, especially like, of course, I'm a little bit biased. Of course, Agawa art. I think that no. Actually, is it Agawa? I'm pretty sure it is.
It's it is. Yeah, it's Akira.
So that one paired with the Soul Blaze English. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't know what it's called in English. Ceruledge.
Ceruledge,
in English. Those two paired up together, absolutely beautiful pair. Unfortunately, I didn't get the 10 on that one, but definitely I love when it's paired up next to the other one.
Yeah, Kira is my favorite illustrator right now. She's like, I've been buying her One Piece cards as well. Like, she is so sick, and it's crazy when you really dive into an artist. They're like so easy to spot in a binder now. I'm like, oh shoot, that's an Akira card. Oh, that's an Akira card. That's an Akira card. So I love how she did this with obviously it still has the nasty Terra Crowns, but they just blend in so well, bro. She's amazing.
Yeah. What about the Slacking full art?
Oh, I love that card.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Bro, let me pull that up. That's also
Wait, you like that card?
I love that card. Yeah. You mean it's like
chilling there, scratching his belly.
Oh my God.
Not the AR, the full art.
Oh,
126.
Oh, bro, the Rage Bait that I pulled in like 3 boxes. Yeah, this one. I have. If you guys need a copy.
Oh my God.
I'm
scratching his belly.
Oh no.
Lounging around.
That was my hit for every box. So that maybe that's why I have a weird relationship with Super Electric.
Nobody likes the Ceruledge AR?
What was that?
I think that's in a different set. It might be in Terrestrial.
No,
it's in here. Yeah, it's there.
Is it in here?
Top left.
Yeah.
Oh no, not that one. I wasn't talking about that one, but
not the SAR, the AR. This is like my favorite card of this set.
It's tough.
Fair, yeah. It really does look good.
This is a Pokemon that's been growing on me lately.
Best Gen 9 Pokemon in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Put that one right next to the Chinese exclusive one. It looks so good. They look so good together.
Oh yeah, let me find that.
I don't know if I've seen the Chinese exclusive.
He's on a rooftop.
Same color palette.
It's a little darker, but
okay.
Did we lose Ibex?
I'm still here. I think my camera is messing up. I'll switch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and you can see them right next to each other there.
That's sick. I'm just like a little assassin in the night.
He's so sick, dude. One of the best new Pokemon. I hated this thing coming out. I'm like, dude, this thing is terrible. And then, you know, I spoke too soon. It's kind of how I feel like with the Gen 9 or Gen 10 starters. I'm probably going to like the stupid Pomeranian down the line.
They all look good to me. So far, we'll see how they end up.
Who? I haven't even got your guys' takes. Let me guess. Shug's gonna pick. I think Shug's gonna pick the Pon or Ponbon, whatever his name is. Am I right?
No, I like the grass chicken, the Brout. Is it Brout?
Oh, Brout. Okay. And I think Ibex is gonna pick Gekwa.
Hell no, Brout.
No, you're a Brout guy? See, bro, yeah. I'm a Brout guy because of the memes, because he's just like a menace, but so it just like kind of fits my
just looks like a fun Pokemon. I don't know.
He's gonna have good lore. He's gonna be good in the animes.
Dude, my favorite Brout meme is him in like the UK drill rapper, like a puffer, like the black puffer coat, and he just has a cigarette in his mouth. That's when he
that one. Like I see a lot of Thug Life memes with that.
Yeah, the Thug Life memes with Brout. Brout's awesome.
Are you starting the questions that people are putting in the chat?
Yeah, I'm starting him. I'm starting him.
Okay.
What was that, Brennan?
For me, it's Gekwa.
Gekwa?
And I was going to show just like my return, the PSA return I got.
Oh, yeah.
I got 3 booty chews back in sequential order in 10s.
Nice. God damn, bro. Bro,
printed. Show all 115 cards.
I can't, dude. I don't want to take over the live with that stuff. So we can do that.
We'll just do this and then we'll all just sit back.
Yeah. Yeah, I got basically 90. It was like 86, 87% was 10. So it was a good win.
Damn. Congrats.
I didn't know Brandon was a whale like that.
Sometimes.
Absolute whale. All right, let's take some questions before we get into today's topics. Paragoso says a dumb question for shrugs. Do vendors really make money? Like, not just more money to buy more expensive cars to stay vending, but does their personal finances get better? Could they buy a house, for example?
No idea. I know I make money. I have seen other vendors at the show make money, and immediately at the end of the show, they're going around to other vendors spending that money on PC cards. So that's why they're pretty much vending, is to just buy more stuff for a collection. I am one of, I think, the few people that is like, no, I know what I want, and I know I can get it cheaper on Mercari or online. These guys are charging a pretty decent premium because of just where they're getting the cards from and what people are using to comp. But I'm sure there's people that make money. We see like pretty successful YouTubers that do this. There's some crazy people that do like buyer POVs, spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars at card shows on the weekend. And those guys are on a different level. I'm not even close to that, but I know I make a decent profit margin. It's a good side hustle.
You said 5K, bro. That's like more than enough. I
spent 5K, made 9, so it's like 4K profit.
4K. Yeah. That says it all right there. 4K.
Yeah, just a quick Japanese salaryman salary for a month.
That was one show. So the show before, I only profited maybe $1,000. I think I've only done 3 shows. I've just nailed down what people want. So I don't think I'll do 9K every time. I might have shows where I do worse. I wouldn't go into it if like somebody's thinking about vending. I wouldn't go super hard right away, especially if you're newer in Pokemon. You don't really have a good feel for what people want. Just start out slow and get an idea at the shows. Maybe go walk a show as a buyer and see what vendors are selling and where the most crowds, like which table is the most crowded, you know, and then see what that vendor has. And that's what you can maybe go off of when you start buying inventory and just slowly build up.
So are we getting Shug vendor POV videos?
Yes, actually, I've been talking to our boy Hector. Because I'm so lazy, I don't have time to edit footage. And we were just talking, me and Hectic TCGs in the chat. He's like, I'll give it a go. And I was like, dude, I need an editor. And I'm like, I'll pay you. So we haven't like figured out all the details, but he's actually, I think, editing right now. One of the shows that I'm doing. So yeah, if this works out and we can work out a deal that works for both of us. I'll just pay him every month to at least one POV vendor video a month.
Super sick. I'm having
That's
Ekron
awesome.
tomorrow for tomorrow's
Yeah, I'm looking
live.
forward
Oh, nice,
to it.
really cool.
Good dude, good
Yeah,
people.
I actually do consignment. So normally what I'll do is like, because the vendors already know the type of cards that I have and what I bring. So they'll usually give me 95%. They'll take 5%. So
Oh,
I
wow.
don't really even go do the vendor table thing. I just, hey, here's the cards I have. They give me the 95% when it's ready to go. To me, it's kind of like putting like in the Pokemon games, how you put your Pokemon in the daycare, and then you get your Pokemon and stuff back when it levels up and stuff. That's kind of how I feel. So it's really awesome to do that. Plus, I don't have to wait and see all these people and try to negotiate every single person. So it's really convenient for me.
Hell yeah.
So that's like a very smart way to do it. And I've thought about like finding either like a Whatnot streamer or somebody like a vendor to sell to regularly. I know there's people that just are buyers and source cards for those people. But
yeah, I used to do that.
I do like the interaction that I have with people. Like I'm normally just communicating online in Discords or YouTube and stuff. And that's fine. I love talking to you guys, but it's nice to like get out there and meet like regular collectors that are just very casual collectors, and they like bulk cards, and they have like their favorite Pokemon's cast form or Wooper or something like off the wall. The interaction and that social part of it, vending is really fun. That's a good card, cast form card.
So
but
cool.
Yeah, that's the reason I do it too, is the social aspect.
Ibex, we getting vendor POVs from you anytime soon?
No, not really. I mean, I've sold a couple times in person in Switzerland at just like these random flea markets. They always do really well. But I agree with Shug. Is like the interactions are like the most fun part of that whole like experience to me. There's always some fun stuff that comes up, like the little kids who lost their minds over the rainbow cards, or like there's last year or the year before, a little kid whose favorite Pokemon is Zygarde. So
it's great.
Obviously didn't have anything, and he is probably the happiest kid right now with all those Zygarde cards.
He's a juice.
There's always an old guy who comes up. Oh yeah, I have one of those Charizards at home. The one is like $50,000. Yeah, I think I have one of those. It's like, yeah, I'm sure it's clean.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's always fun. Always a good time. There's like, I think, last year was cool. I did a bit of I was a few binders, one like display case, a little bit of sealed stuff. And it's just stuff I've been collecting over the time, just like bring to Switzerland, or stuff I have there. Like half of my collection is in Switzerland, but I did like a binder with like a themed binder. So I had like a Ghastly Haunter Gengar like page layout.
Sick.
And that did really well with the people. Like one guy came up and he was like a big like ghost Pokemon collector, so he had a good time going through those pages. Yeah, sick. It's good times.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you definitely get like a new perspective going to card shows. Like that's why I love like going to a card show, even if I don't buy anything, because it just gives me like a million content ideas. But I remember when Team Rocket Joey he vended, and we went to the card show. It was like a small card show. But I remember that fool texting me. He's like, dude, like all day people are just buying cheap cards. Like it just turned my brain into an entirely different way. I was like, yeah, like no one was buying any of these like big hitters that were over here just like making all these videos on. It's like these smaller cards. And I was like, yeah, bro, it's like it puts you into an entirely different perspective of what the actual hobby I think is, and not just like us 100% nerds that are just,
totally
glazing
over the
I would say I have two cases of like higher end cards, and then I have a bulk box with the 4 rows where you could put like 5,000 bulk cards. I have them all top loaded, but they're vintage to mid-era bulk cards for $2 to $3. I just say anything in there is like $2 to $3.
Sick.
And that's where people like a line forms for that box. They're like, most people want to go through that box instead of looking at the cases.
Yeah. It's a little bit, I think if you have a little bit of everything for, as a vendor, like you're straight, you're going to print. It's like when you see those vendors like really zone in on expensive cards or very niche stuff, you're like, okay, you don't really have too much for me if I'm not looking in that exact direction.
Right. I think that's why my consignments work really well, is because I have like a binder that I usually put together, and it's like a $5 or less binder. And I usually just give that to the vendor that does the consignment stuff, and they tear through that binder really, really fast. And I just like exchange, like I rotate and give them the next binder that has the $5 cards. And then I'll go, like whenever I go to Japan or Korea or whatever, buy a bunch of cards, stack a binder in, and we just swap them out. So that really keeps customers there, or like it draws them to the table. It's very approachable for everybody. And then you can also get people kind of to keep their eyes on your table for other stuff too, the higher end stuff too. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I'm like loving card shows. It's like, I think for all of the like the heat that vendors get, at least over here in America, I don't know about you guys over there, but there's always like a freaking dogs upstairs. What was I saying? For all the heat that like vendors and vendor POVs get, I think there's like there's more good vendors than are like bad ones, or people that are trying to scam you. Like there's always like I always go in and it's like rainbows and butterflies until that one table you try to do a trade and they're trying to offer you like less than 40%. You're like, whoa, that that took a turn. I tried to sell those V Striker tins for like $400. If Eric's still in the chat, and this dude was like, he's like, yeah, I have to like break them down, blah blah blah. The most I can give you is like $140 for a $400 tins, and I was like, no, bro. Like, and there's like one of those vendor tables where it's like a mile long, and there's like 9 dudes working, and you can tell they're just printing money. And it's like a very, very flashy display. So there's always some of that, but for the most part, it's been like pretty fun, pretty good.
Yeah, I had there was one time I was at a table in October, and I was trying to sell this guy a Shining Charizard for $2,000. Like my asking price was, or like the lowest I would go was $2,000. And he was like, oh, I don't know if I can sell this. It's very, like high end or whatever. And I was like, man, this is a Charizard. It's a Shining Charizard. Like you're going to be able to, it was in either a 9 or I think it was a 9. But he wouldn't take it. So I ended up selling it maybe last month or something like that for 3 something. So I was just like, well, hey, that's his loss. And I think that applies to a lot of those hard bargain tables, where it's just like, all right, take your L, man, because I'm gonna win no matter what. So it's fine. Yeah. I'll take it somewhere else, or I'll take it somewhere later.
This vendor hit me with a it's all like it's gonna keep on going up. So keep on like trying to grab a card, but I was like, yeah, but and then like a few minutes later, like 5 minutes later, when I'm trying to negotiate, like me selling him is sealed, and I was like, yeah, dude, it's gonna keep on going up. See how the logic doesn't really work when it's
right
when it's used against you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a good time. Let's see what did Jaime said. Hi there. What is the future of Pokemon like 3 to 5 years in terms of collecting and investing? Is there still room for growth? What is the whole picture of the hobby? Just the beginning. That's kind of
massive question.
It's kind of like what I wanted to debate Shug on one-on-one, but I have him here in my grasp now. Kind of like, I think that the bull run is going to continue
for 3 to 5 years.
Oh yeah. I could say 3 to 5 years, 100%.
Ooh, look at his hot takes. Like I can feel the aura increasing.
Yeah. Shug, yeah. You want to go? You want to explain your argument?
So quickly, I'll try to. But yeah, there's so much. Like I said, it's a huge question. My perspective is mostly from Japanese. I don't follow the English market at all. I don't have any. I collect Japanese. I sell Japanese. I only look at Japanese comps usually on everything. So I have no idea of what's going on in the English market. I think from the Japan side, Pokemon won't let this happen for 3 to 5 years. They're gonna work on printing more. They will probably happen sooner rather than that time frame. I think within a year, we'll see boxes back on the shelves. Honestly, especially with the 30th coming around, I think they know how big the 30th is going to be, and they're going to print the hell out of it. And they've been printing it probably. They might have let like sets like Choden Breaker or Terrassel Festival suffer a little bit, or whatever, Journey Together suffer a little bit, because they knew they had to print more of this in the future. And they're like, okay, that we might take a hit on those, but we're going to fix it in the next couple of years. They're not going to let this keep happening. So I think we'll see boxes for MSRP within a year probably.
But how about the thing that Ibex always brings about the backdooring? You know, how are we so sure that like that problem is going to get fixed? You know,
I mean, if they don't fix it directly, they can fix it indirectly by just printing so much of it that people don't want it. That it's just there's just nobody can get rid of it because it's so available. That would be like a more indirect approach. Directly, Ibex has brought up. What did you bring up? What's your idea? Secret shoppers or something?
Secret shoppers hired by Pokemon on release day. I volunteer. I'll do it for free.
Yeah. For those people that don't know, it's like a lot of the boxes that are getting to the West that are Japanese boxes to get to these whatnot streamers or whoever, they're going through card shops in Japan because card shops know that they can just sell them for more. So they're not getting to the Japanese people directly.
I think Pokemon should have people employed on release day to go around the different card stores that get allocated product for release and see if it's for sale. Yeah. If it's not for sale in the store, blacklist, done. Move on. Right? Simple as that. Allocate those boxes to the stores that do sell on the ground or give it to the convenience stores or whatever. Like, I think that would make things, at least in Japan, a whole lot better. I don't know.
The other thing we're seeing too, and I think this was just on Poke Beach, is that Pokemon seems to have released some release dates for future sets in English that are more closely aligned with the Japanese sets, or they're not as far of a gap in between them. So I think a lot of people buy the Japanese product because they can't wait for the English product. It's exciting. They want to be a part of that new, what's going on. And so if they can line those up more closely, that would really affect the supply of Japanese boxes and make that price go down. Also, and they did
the one-to-one sets.
The one-to-one sets, they're kind of doing that too, which might be what they're trying out to see if they can break them up more like the Japanese sets and just release them more frequently. Damn, I lost what I was going to say. Go ahead. Somebody else can talk. I've been talking too long.
I have a take on this one, and I just want to say that this applies no matter what time frame you use, because I know we're talking about the 3 to 5 years, and chances are people's responses are probably thinking about sealed product at the time of release at 3 to 5 years from now. But I'll give a take on product up to this point, investing in those things, and what does that mean for the 3 to 5 years. Looking a little bit at the some of the like raw cards and stuff like that. I would say so a couple categories I feel very confident about. This is just my personal take. There was a waifu crash that happened recently, like last year, a year before. I'm losing track of time. I think from a Japanese market stance, I mean, you're talking about maybe 200%, 300% drops that have yet to recover back to the original prices. I think there's some opportunities there. I think there's some opportunities in the uppercase EX era that Henry talks about, as well as I think it's the uppercase GX mid era. If you call it mid, depending on the person and how they perceive mid era to be, as well as the sum of the lowercase EX era cards. I think that there's a lot to be a lot of opportunities in the mid era for sure in the next 3 to 5 years. I'd also add, I think that even if there's like a heavy printing situation going on, I think that the greater Pokemon market as a whole, like Pokemon as a franchise, I think will be in a better position 3 to 5 years from now than it is now. And the reason why I can kind of say something like that is because they know what they're doing. When they just released Pokemon Champions, when they've released TCG Pocket last year, when they're still continuing to push Pokemon Go, I get the advertisements still for Pokemon Go. What they really are trying to do is lock in all bases onto Pokemon. And I know, Shug, you've brought up the great note about how you can't escape Pokemon in Japan. So we know it's not leaving Japan. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that it's a household brand for all over the world, and they're trying to capture those people in any way they can. So I'm very confident for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, because I see both sides. Like I try to, I do my best trying to cover the Japanese market, but then I see the just madness of, I explained in my last video of like this giant snowball that's gained so much momentum, and it's like, sure, like this, like we can think that it's slowing down, but we just built up so much momentum in this past like 2 to 3 years that like just to slow it down or to stop people from fighting and stabbing each other, like it's gonna take some time. So I'm like very confident within 2 to 3 years, like we're still gonna be pretty much like booming. But 5 years, like, anything's on the table. I just think we just have way too much momentum, and people are too crazy. Then you add like the whatnot streamers, like for all languages. I know like maybe you guys don't see like that side of the hobby for both languages when it comes to like the rip and shipping stuff. So I don't know. I think that it's just going to be bad for at least another 2 to 3 years.
You just said we've had too much momentum and things are crazy, which is I would use that against your argument to say that exactly, like people are overvaluing this stuff because there's too much momentum and people are acting irrational. And so they're pricing in cards, pricing in what they think they're going to be in 5 years, 10 years, maybe. And then people are going to realize there's a lot more of it out there than they think, especially with modern. Modern, I'm more so arguing this for than vintage, because the low pop vintage stuff I've always believed in. Non-TCG stuff, like stuff that nobody's looked at, all that stuff I'm pretty confident in, even though it might see a retrace. I don't think it's going to crash hard like the modern stuff. People are overly confident in that, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. Maybe there's just so much demand that it's not enough and it will continue to go up. I think there's outliers that people will use, like the Moonbryon. Of course, that's like that card will probably never go down. The Van Gogh Pikachu, actually, I'm not sure that the Van Gogh Pikachu, that might go down because there's a lot of those. And that thing might be getting manipulated.
For sure.
The Moonbryon is an outlier, which people will use as an example for all modern. I don't think you shouldn't use it as an example for all of modern.
Yeah, I feel like most Sword and Shield alt arts are still pretty cheap.
I agree.
Like Japanese you still find Sword and Shield alt arts that are 2,000 yen mint.
Yeah,
there's just not the popular ones, right? But people forget about those cards all the time when they talk about modern. I think, predicting the future is always impossible, obviously. So I'd always just be careful, be smart with how you spend your money. I'm not beating a dead horse, but I always remind people of 2023 and the Japanese crash. Before the crash happened, Japanese seemed unstoppable. There wasn't enough product. The prices were going crazy. Feels very familiar. And then basically overnight, it all came crashing down. And there was no real reason. I mean, there's multiple different reasons why that happened, but not like one specific thing that made the crash happen. And to say it can't happen again is just foolish, I think, because much of it feels very familiar. I mean, a lot of things have changed since then, sure. But I just, I remind myself, like, I had the same feelings back then as a collector. It's like, damn, all this stuff is too expensive. I can't afford this stuff anymore. I'll never be able to collect it. A year later, it was a tenth of the price, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it can happen again.
At what point, though, do we feel like we're just kicking the can down the road, though? Like, at what point do you finally have to be like, oh, shit, this is like we're in it for a minute? That's the thing me and Jodo Jake were talking about on a live. Like, we're like, oh yeah, next summer is like 2 summers from now. It's gonna 3 summers from, and we're just over and over. And then we're like, oh shit, like this might be, I hate to say this word, the catchphrase, the new normal. But at what point can we just like have to wave the white flag and be like, okay, this is like what it actually is going to be for quite some time, and to kind of get rid of that like PTSD of the past, because like I had those same thoughts that you're having.
Well, yeah,
to an extent.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like the investment YouTubers always say like, well, learn from the past, look at the history. Pokemon always goes up over time. It's like, well, if you look at the history, you have to look at those crashes. They're just as relevant. They happened, right? So. And I think, it doesn't really matter if I mean, it matters to people who are, who are financially like engaged in this hobby or whatever, right? When a potential crash happens, if it's this year, next year, or in 10 years. But to me, just the possibility of that becoming a reality, whether it's next year or in 5 or 10 years, it's just something you have to keep in mind. And 100%. In any markets right now, last time Japanese was booming, whatever, right? There's always some items, some cards that are feel extremely overvalued. And then you have other stuff that you're like, hey, this is actually still like a really good deal. So just be smart with what you're buying. Try and come up with good reasons for why something makes sense, and don't just follow the hype. And like, you'll miss out on some things. That's just how it goes. Right?
Yeah.
That's part of it. You won't be able to get everything. Some things will just be gone, but that's okay. As long as you buy other stuff that you like, you're happy with, it's all good.
Yeah. I'll share one thing to know, and this is like, we're living examples. Every single one of us has been around during that crash time, and we're still here. I think a lot of what is important for people that are just coming into the hobby is to understand that, like, you have to be ready and willing to accept, maybe your product or whatever it is drops X%. Are you still going to stare at that product the same, or that card the same, whatever it may be? Like, do you still put it on your shelf, even though it's $10, $12, whatever it may be? I think that's what really keeps people going in this one in the long run. And then when things get better, they're going to still be here. And that's kind of why I'm not too worried. I know a lot that's a personal, like, collector versus investor argument, but even as an investor, like pure investor, all it's doing is really fueling my collection passion. So I think it's really important that people, like you mentioned, don't go too far with your spending, don't overreach. But at the same time, be smart about what cards you're looking at. If it doesn't make like sense, like, there's hype, there's FOMO, and then there's like what actually makes mathematical sense. If you're buying a card, it's rare, it's popular, that rare, scarce, etc. Then it's better to optimize your purchases with those types of cards if it's from an investment stance, just to keep yourself safe.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of echo whenever Brandon is talking. I don't know where it's coming from. I muted my mic, so it's not me, but
maybe it's me.
Yeah, just in case.
Testing. Okay.
Now.
I think it's good. Maybe
it's good.
All right. And I did have one thing to share. Like, we were talking about, like, where are the opportunities? So I did pick up a handful of cards. A couple of you guys already know that I'm picking up these cards, but I wanted to go ahead and start showing some of these. And like, when people say like there's nothing left, the hobby's grown too high, things are out of reach, so I can't pick up any more cards. I mean, I'm picking up these cards for somewhere between $100 to $200 a pop, and it makes no sense when people are saying that the hobby's too hot. It's probably because people don't know where to look, so there's still opportunities out there for people. So I just recommend that, if people feel like they're priced out, they probably need to just look a little bit deeper, spend a little bit more time on your cards, and you'll find some cool things out there.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool. Like when I always interview like these new collectors that like just got here within like the year, younger kids, right? I have my boy Pokeblab on every month, and like him and his friends, they only want the ultra modern like full arts, and they don't even care to look at half arts. So I'm like trying to like get my mind into like, why some of these beautiful cards like Brandon just showed are just sitting. It's like, maybe, do you guys think like it comes with over time, the appreciation for like vintage and just like older stamps or stuff like that? Kind of.
I think for people who don't have that personal nostalgia to the older stuff, I think a percentage of them will trickle down to the older sets over time. For some people, it will always be the modern artworks that are the most interesting, exciting. But I always feel like I think it's almost like when people are new, they need a bit of time to figure out what they actually like. And, for some that will stay modern, that's cool, right? But that's like the entry level, right? The entry point where that's what you're exposed to in the stores. That's what you're exposed to on YouTube. That's what everyone is talking about. And then over time, people will discover these other things. And I think it's, one of the reasons why vintage is doing so well right now, why it's going so crazy. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff happening as well, of course, but I think it's a lot more people are looking at these modern, insane pop reports and are going, well, this other thing, there's only like 200, right? And I think over time, more and more people will kind of have that similar understanding or mindset, I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
We had pop reports on for one of the questions. only 54 minutes until we got into the
topics.
Did we have pop reports?
the first topics. I don't know, dude. Like if people were just arguing in the Discord, pop reports mattered or they don't matter. Just kind of
They
wanted
definitely matter.
your that was fast.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think let me just start this off. I think if you've been here in the hobby long enough, you understand that they do matter to an extent, and they also matter to us all differently. I'm just gonna say that. You guys can do what you will with that. I'll let you guys tell me why pop reports matter or don't matter.
It's just a simple supply and demand. Pops are the supply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The nuance is that the pop is not what's for sale, right? So you
True.
could have 50,000 tens, but maybe only 10 for sale. That can
True.
happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But those 50,000 exist, right? They can be for sale. That's the important thing to keep in mind. And I'm with Shug. It's just supply and demand. And when people say pop doesn't matter, it's just about demand. Well, it just shows that, like, high pop cards can be expensive. They can go up in value because there is incredible demand for those cards.
Absolutely.
The problem is demand can change. It can change fast. It can change drastically. It can swing whichever way it wants to swing. And you will have no idea, zero idea what's going to be popular in 10 years. Nobody
We've
knows.
seen it even in a shorter time span with the meme cards, like the IRs that are like the Trump, whatever Pokemon that is, the Trump card, the Clobopus, the 6/7 Clobopus, the Booger Mew.
Yeah, Kabuto.
Yeah, all these cards have tons of copies, but people are paying crazy amounts for these cards, and then they dropped off with like in a week, and it's like, okay, demand just changed very quickly.
Yeah. How about the pop report cards, that we all know in the thumbnails, the Moonbryons, the Burger Chews,
again, it's like I just don't get why people say it doesn't matter. You look at Japanese EV Heroes and Blue Sky Stream, that Rayquaza is way more expensive than the Umbreon. Not because Rayquaza is a more popular Pokemon, maybe a little bit, I don't know. It's because there's way less tens. Right? It's just like, yeah. Or the English Moonbreon, would it be more expensive if there was less tens? Yes, with the same demand. Would it be cheaper if there was twice as many tens with the same demand? Yes, of course. It's just supply and demand. It's I don't know why people have this idea that the pop doesn't matter.
Somebody let me know the pop comparison right now between the Umbreon in Japanese, the Moonbreon in Japanese, and the Moonbreon in English, because it used to be that the Moonbreon in Japanese was very much so the higher priced item. I don't remember if it was because it was harder to pull in Japanese. I do know that the set wasn't particularly like a guaranteed. I don't think it was a guaranteed secret rare at the time.
Yeah.
So but I do remember that it used to be higher in Japanese than English. There might be some correlation there, might not be. But my take is like it's an equation. It's a mathematical equation that requires some the popularity or the demand is a part of that factor too. So you can't just remove that number from the equation just based on one or two examples of cards with high pop, just because those are one or two offs. And if you want to be a strong investor or a strong person lasting in this hobby, you can't just ignore population reports.
Yeah. I think where this argument came from in the Discord is people are confusing it from like cards that act like we see all the vendor POV videos where they'll try to sell a card and then they'll smack it's only pop 10, but it's like a freaking
of course, right?
It's a cleffa, right? And then that's where it fuels the drive to talk about this topic, and everyone's like, it doesn't matter. It's a freaking cleffa, and there's like that.
This is like a pop one. It should be like $10 million or something.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
A low pop card can be cheap, and a high pop card can be expensive.
There it is.
Of course.
There it is.
Of course.
I want to speak on what. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was just saying the pop report. So Umbreon VMAX English 20,363 tens, Japanese 7,381 tens.
There you go.
There it is.
Go.
That's the flip, by the way. That's the switch. 2021, 22 is when it flipped from Japanese English in terms of like available. Maybe there's still more 10s for some English set cards, but like this is the time when Japanese was way less available.
Right.
That's the flip. Japanese collecting 101. Be aware, 21, 22 is a major shift in Japanese Pokemon cards happened here.
What was the quality control for that set? Do you guys remember?
Japanese Sword and Shield was great.
Better than now.
It was great.
It was fantastic.
Way better.
Okay.
I would say,
Garbage
except for
now.
the V's with well, it depends on if you count print lines. I think the V's with print line issues was a big problem, and especially like well, I would say the V's with the black borders, and the some of the trainer cards would also have heavy print line issues. But as far as like centering and whitening and all that jazz, normally it was pristine.
Yeah, and some of the V cards, V Maxes with the black outlines, sometimes there was a bit of whitening. But print lines, yes, were very common. Like V Max Climax, every full art has a print line, at least one. But PSA doesn't care. So,
okay,
you know.
Yeah, I only started opening Japanese products from, well, in the Sword and Shield era, all in Korean, so no Japanese experience, but that was terrible. So bad.
But just real quick, what the comment from, I think was it Uncle Shrimp? It's like that.
I wanted to comment too.
Yeah. So, but on a philosophical level, those with a bajillion copies, nobody cares about what the pop reports are when they want those. That's demand.
Yeah,
that's demand. People want it, they want it. That's demand.
Nobody caring about the pop report doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It's the pop report still matters. Just because you don't care about it, it's still reflective of the supply available on the market, and the price will reflect that. And then he said, no one is looking at a Moonbryon and saying, I don't want to own that. There's too many. I'm one of those people.
Well,
for example, but also, sorry, Brandon, just real quick, but also people decide how much they want to pay for it, right?
Yeah,
which price are you willing to pay?
Yeah,
and that's the result of the supply and demand equation, right? So that's why it still matters. But
yeah, that's true.
I would say also, if population didn't matter, then people wouldn't buy PSA 10s. People would only buy raw cards.
You're right.
Because why would you buy a PSA 10 when you can get the card raw for like, 10%? Like, you're getting such a discount if you really love that card and that's the only reason you're getting the card, then you don't care that it's more unique than the rest of the population. The reason why you care about that 10 is because it's more rare, it's more scarce. There's less cards that have a 10 on it. You care about that number. If you didn't care about that 10, then just get your PSA 4 Umbreon, and there would probably be more people with PSA 4 Umbreons or something like that.
Yeah, very good point. And I want to Shug use this example, maybe in our Instagram chat, I'm not sure, but you talked about the Burger Chew, and that being a good example of pop reports mattering. Like
250,000 tens,
250,000 tens,
250,000 tens.
And there's still many with PSA, I'm sure. But like, that's a good example. That is still a Japanese exclusive Pikachu McDonald's promo. It's still a cool card, right? That like a lot of people would want, but you have 250,000 tens. And it's $80. Like,
that's kind of crazy to me that it's $80.
And it's a popular card. Right?
It's holding pretty strong.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick. So the Umbreon VMAX in Japanese, English 20,000, Japanese 7,000. The Rayquaza VMAX 2,500.
Yeah, that's low. I mean, for modern.
That's low.
Yeah, damn, bro.
Yeah, Japanese Umbreon is, I think, 68,000 PSA.
Yeah.
God, bro.
Wild.
Wow.
Yeah. And for all these ultra modern cards, there's continuing.
And again, right now it's several $100s.
It's actually one less.
There's one less PSA 10.
For anybody that didn't watch Dark Ibex's live last, we sent this as a PSA 10 to ARS. ARS cracked it out, and then they gave it a 9. So there's one less PSA 10 Umbreon, Japanese Umbreon out there.
Yeah.
They said no.
I wonder if they send the labels to PSA. Probably not. Like, to let them know.
They're not snitching.
Oh wait,
they're not snitching.
It can't be bothered.
Speaking of that, like, I really wish that when you do a cross grade, I wish that like they would give you a discount based on you taking a card off the population or off the market from one company to the next one. So it'd be like, hey, if you want ARS, if you can submit a card that has a PSA label on it, we'll give you 15% off or something like that.
Dang,
that would be freaking awesome.
That's what we thought.
And we would mass migrate.
They upcharge you. Oh my god. Yeah, so there you go, guys. Everyone in the Discord fighting night and day. There it is. Yeah.
No, I think it's a fun conversation. To me, it's like, it's just supply demand. And like sometimes when people talk about,
sure,
you know, demand doesn't matter, and like all these things that people say, it almost sounds like, you know, they're trying to say that Pokemon is this mythical, magical entity that escapes supply and demand basic, you know, principles. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And you just have to be aware that, like, you know, the Umbreon, the terrestrial one, 70,000 tens, 68,000 or 67,999 now without Shugs. But like that card is several $100s because it's so popular. Right? But will it be as popular in 10 years? Maybe it's going to be more popular. I don't know that though. Right?
Yeah.
But you need to have people continue caring about this card as much as they do right now for that price to stay the same.
For sure.
Is that possible with 70,000 tens? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you guys ever like looked at the ultra modern market and try to like come up with a thesis of what card is next? Like, have you?
Every day.
So dude, it like bugs me. Yeah, bro.
What do you mean by like what card is next? Is in like what's the next Moonbryon or Umbreon or whatever? Or are you asking like
I was like trying to go to sleep the other day and thinking about a video, and I was like, what freaking card? Like, because I think we just have so much coverage every single day on YouTube that it's just like there's you know, like no rock has been turned. Like it's just, I feel like the secret's out for at least for ultra modern. Let me just say that for ultra modern, but
it's also hard for. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, my bad. No,
cut you off. I was just saying it's also difficult for ultra modern because a lot of stuff is so expensive right now. But like if you look at the Bubble Mew in Japanese, it was very cheap for a long time. Right? So and the Moonbryon back in the day was obviously much cheaper than it is today. But with ultra modern, we're starting out with really crazy prices, right? So like if you look at the Japanese Start Deck 100 cards, madness. I saw a card store try to sell the gold Charizard in a PSA 10 for 3 million yen. 3 million. That's like 23 grand. The shit came out 6 months ago. Barely. No, less.
That's ridiculous.
Insane stuff. Like, how can there be something how can something be the next Moonbryon if stuff's already this expensive?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if they were able to sell it, obviously, but like that's crazy stuff, right?
Do you guys feel like we're kind of fast forwarding to like the end of the price range a little bit, or at least pushing like maybe we have room to grow a little bit, but it really feels like there's no growth anymore. The chart just does this, right?
Keeps going.
It's an L.
And then a new thing will pop off, right? It's like it's almost like people always look for the next thing to go crazy, and they sort of move through the hobby, through the eras, and now it's this thing, and then it's this thing, and then it's this thing. So currently, right now, apparently, it's the gold exclusive from Tag All Stars. Those are the ones that are popping off now. What's going to be the thing next week? Take your guess.
Booty choose.
Who knows?
Booty card.
That's crazy.
I think the best
thing I'm gonna make a call.
Bet on modern. It's maybe not ultra modern. Ultra Beasts.
Ultra Beasts. No.
Something that I like doing instead of like wasting my time worrying, seeing what ultra modern card's just going to pop off and go super parabolic. It's looking back at maybe the XY era or Sun and Moon era. And like these are some examples of cheap cards that I think will do well in the future.
I just got
the Greninja with the Charizard Shadow. Like to me, it's a super cheap raw in a 9. And then this was maybe a little bit more expensive, where comparatively, when you're looking at ultra modern cards, this card was like a month ago was like $200 in a 10, and now they're like $300 or $400.
Really?
And it's like you could have bought a bunch of these for even cheaper probably than $200 if I would have looked into it a little bit earlier. But so that's what I've started doing now. Instead of just trying to bet on ultra modern and get lucky, I just kind of look back at stuff that's the market's more established on it. and then
Mhm.
kind of look at what looks cool, and if it's worth buying, then I'll pick it up.
Sick.
Yeah. I keep doing what I've been doing since I got back into the hobby. I just buy the stuff I like. I've always loved niche stuff, so that helps a lot. But like with vintage going so crazy, it's like almost hard to imagine that you can still find vintage deals out there. But I just picked one up the other day that I think is a really cool card. We've probably all heard that like the Jigglypuff and the Pikachu Coro glossy ones have gone crazy recently as like they're the first 2 TCG cards, and there's this documentary in production with Logan Paul and all those people, right? But you can still find like similar types of cards for almost the same prices they were at a couple of years ago. So like this is what I picked up. It's the promo Slowpoke. This is, I think, it's the first Slowpoke card ever, and it's like the 6th or 7th promo or card ever released in the promo line. So it's a super vintage card. It came with a playmat, cloth playmat back in the day. So a lot of these are damaged. It was reprinted in web series, this artwork. It's also the same artwork that's on the all evolution boxes, where this is the basic one, right? But I paid 7,000 yen, and it's super clean. 7,000 yen on Merikari. Vintage, first ever Slowpoke card. Like this stuff is still out there, right?
It's awesome.
You just have to look for it. Yeah, but like this is like that card is history to me. That's history.
That card's sick. So clean.
That's like for a modern take. I was gonna just share one card that I think it hasn't even like hit what I think the price should be. So I think it is underrated, but it is modern. And it would probably be this sucker right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
because like, I mean, how much would you think this card is right now? You know, like without looking anything up, just based on where the market is right now.
$40.
Is it English?
Yeah.
Is it English or Japanese?
This one is English. I have plenty.
I have no idea.
This particular one is English.
200.
Oh, in English. Oh, in English. Oh, my bad.
That's a good guess.
I have no idea.
It's $200.
So where the price is right, and we got 200 on two people.
Dang.
So it's actually you're pretty much on the mark here. Like this card, you're talking about you're close to 200. So now it's starting to slide up a little bit, closer to 3, but you get it for like 250 or whatever. But when you talk about like all these raw cards that are dropping right now in the modern era, like they're starting at 3, you know?
Yeah.
And when you know that there's a Darkrai set coming out, when you got the #1 Pokemon on the freaking card as well, and it's a tag team card, which is the top, you know, like as far as like a set goes, and people are freaking out about is tag teams. That all that stuff combined should mean that this card should be way above anything that's coming out right now. So that's just one example where it's an anomaly. So I try to pick these up as soon as I see them in the wild.
That's a good
They just do Darkrai so dirty, like every set. Like my favorite card that ever came out is the Darkrai card from Pocket, where he's like in the window, but he's also like his shadow's like gonna eat the kid. You guys seen that card?
Oh yeah, the Pokemon. It's not a real card, right?
It's not a real card.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
a sick card,
dude. But that's my favorite Darkrai art we've ever seen. Like, oh, it's so good.
Agreed.
But like, I like the Crown Zenith Darkrai. Oh, that's cool.
That's sick.
That's a sick Darkrai.
This is my Halloween Darkrai right here.
Spooky.
But we need, dude. That's what we need. Like, I hope this new set was it Pitch Dark Night, whatever
it's called. I don't know.
I hope it's a Darkrai Umbreon set, like Reddit is anticipating. I mean, it sounds like we're headed in a dark direction, right? So maybe we get a more coherent set in that. And I agree, bro. Darkrai is like gets almost zero love. The Crown Zenith card was cool, where he's just like standing, where he's like floating over a lake, but it just didn't really feel like the Darkrai lore. I'm like, it's just like way too bright and colorful for it to. But I don't know. So I'm keeping my expectations real low from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
that's a nice
sick.
card. You want to hear a 30th anniversary set hot take?
Let's hear
Go
it.
for it.
I hope that set has 0 chase.
The
Or
30th anniversary?
very little
0
chase.
Yeah.
Chase. Yeah.
Zero
chasing-
chase.
In
0
terms of,
or
like,
little. I want it to be a
the-
box or a set you complete by opening 1 or 2 boxes. Just like they did with the CP.
oh man,
A lot of the CP boxes you could complete in a set.
like 20 card sets,
maybe
30
2.
card sets.
Trigger trade type.
Yeah, trick or trade is still popping off.
Put
So
all the crazy artwork in there, all the
Hey.
cool reprints, and just
Yep.
completely crush all the scalpers, crush all the flippers. I don't care. It's a 30th anniversary. They can make an exception. Go back to 10 years ago, it was 2016, those days when those sets were a thing. Stuff like that. This has existed in the past. It's a set. It should be a celebration. It should be available to everyone, right?
I agree.
And it should be the complete opposite of the start deck 100, which was the worst thing they could have done in this market. Absolute worst.
That's
thing.
yeah, I
wild,
couldn't
yeah.
believe that, especially from
And-
Japan. I couldn't believe it.
And like, I just want them to, like, you know, just give us the cool card. Give everyone the cool cards. If the chase card is 1,000 yen, who do I care? No. Why would I care if it's 1,000 yen? I can fill a binder page. Cool. Right?
Exactly.
Like, if they can't do that for every set because that would kill the hobby, but they can make an exception for the anniversary.
That's what I
Right.
said, Ibex. I think that the last time we spoke, I said the same thing. I was like, reprint all the flippable cards that are like that live in people's mouths every single day on the best cards to flip. Reprint them all. Have fun. Like, make this set like an actual celebration of the best cards.
Reprint
And-
the Illustrator.
Just wreck
And
Logan
they were
Paul.
pretty close with the
Let's do
25th
this.
anniversary. Like, the promo packs made it different, but the set itself, the box, was not much in it. And the gold Mew
Right.
wasn't even that hard to pull.
Mm.
Yeah. But like the rest
Yeah.
of that set, you can basically pull in one box outside the reverse holos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled the Mew from just opening one box. And then one thing I didn't appreciate from it goes back to the start deck 100 thing of like all those special cards that everyone loved were in those promo packs, and you could see straight through them if you shine a light on them.
That's not
So
good.
people were just holding all the Charizards back and stuff. So they need to learn
On the
from
start
that.
decks?
It's a mistake. Not the start decks, the promo,
Oh.
the promo 25th anniversary
Oh,
packs that
okay,
were
yeah,
white.
yeah.
They were white, so you could like if you turn off your lights and shine a light on the packs, you can see what card it has because you can see the color of the card. So if the type is red, you knew you got a Charizard.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I hope
It's
they do
nasty
what
work.
they did with the 25th and they released the English a week early. Because that's what
I
they
think
did
it's same
for-
day.
Oh, I thought it was a week
think
early,
it's all
but
same
same
day.
day, same thing. Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as it's like within a week of each other on either end, either way, that'll be good.
It's September 16th, I think, right? Which is apparently the same day as the 20th anniversary CP6
Oh,
when
they've
that
been-
came out.
Okay.
Yeah. But Shug, what do you think about my set idea? No chase.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, for the hobby as a whole, I love it. I would just open the set for fun. I would probably, I think
Because I know you like
Good
like
idea.
like crazy chase stuff.
I
like,
love
you're all
chase.
for,
Yeah,
like, serialized
I want
and stuff like
serialized
that.
cards. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I love exclusivity. I love rare. I love low pop. I want serialized cards, but for the hobby, I think we need it. I think we need a cooldown, and we need.
Could-
I think we need
it would just be
scalpers and
fun.
flippers' confidence to be like crushed.
Yeah.
For
Let's
sure.
You know what I
enjoy
like
this set,
about- I'll draw out your comment just a little bit because it reminds me of when the 25th anniversary came out. And yeah, I could run through the set really fast, but I still found a way to chase or like an avenue to the chase in the English market. But there's some things that I think are still going to come up in this next set. So this is like my prediction right now, that there's going to be some type of error or some type of thing that makes, even though they're all the same cards, it's going to make one card more unique than the other because it has like a ghost stamp or it has a hollow something that is weird or something that makes it like, oh, you have that version and that's what makes it cool. So the English 25th anniversary has a lot of hollow bleed cards that you could get. So for me, I really loved, even though you could probably run through and find a whole bunch of them, there's a ton of half art cards that have like hollow bleed on them, and that's what I love to pick up from that particular set. So if they had something like that, I think it still would give the love to everyone, where you still can trim off the scalpers, and you still have that opportunity for the collectors, because they're gonna find something, I think.
Yeah,
for sure. Let me just say thank you to Sailing really quick. He asked, where was Ibex manufactured?
Made in Switzerland.
Made in Switzerland. Love the lineup. Thanks, Sailing, for always popping in, bro. He's the best.
Ibex sounds smarter because of his accent.
Yeah,
That's so.
Damn.
I mean, you're a smart dude, but I think the accent just it gives it a little bit extra.
When I was in the States during my exchange year in high school, I was in Vermont for a year, and that's the one thing they always kept saying to me: "Schnell, schnell, schnell." I think because that's when Band of Brothers had just come out, and there's like the German soldiers apparently were all screaming "Schnell, schnell, schnell."
What does schnell mean?
Fast.
Fast.
Hurry up.
That's funny.
That day, a long time ago. Jeez.
You're about to say something, Ibex, before I cut you off. My bad.
Oh, I forgot. I don't know.
Oh, damn it. God damn it. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. Should we get into the last topic before we?
Should we start with the topics?
Say fire, man.
You guys ready? You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Drum roll, please. Card restorations. And it's nice that it's nice that me and Brandon are on the same side as well.
I feel like Henry kind of baited me into this.
Oh my
he
God.
Didn't say this was going to be a topic until
right
today.
now. Oh my God.
Yeah. Shug's doing it live. Card restoration.
There's nothing in there. I bought it to try it out and see what it's about.
Ibex is super disappointed in you.
Can I start?
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
I'm going to give the first point I'm going to give is as a collector. And I know that that's not where the hot take comes from. So the first part I'll give is if people don't know, I had an office fire and I had a whole binder full of Mewtwo cards in it. And so a lot of my cards actually ended up getting either wet because of the fire hoses like that they were spraying in, or they got fire char and stuff all over it. So I lost almost a full collection. So one of the things, like I was only able to find a couple or like fix a couple cards or like find a couple cards out of them. One of them is this first edition Shadowless Mewtwo here. When I found it, I mean, it had like black tar and stuff, and it was wet, and it was basically far from recovery. But I was able to give this to like a card restorer, and they were able to clean it up pretty well. It is curved, just because of the water damage and all the stuff that was going on with this card here. But this is my collection, and it would hurt like really bad if I wasn't able to like get this back, or have to like pay full price just because I'm trying to get something back in my collection. I'm never going to sell this card. So to me, to have an ability to restore it, like I'm for it all day long. So that's the first part. Then my second stance is like, to me, like it's like having a restored car to me, from a business or from like if I was going to sell a card to somebody, then the like first note that I would share is like from a value stance. If a card is near mint if it's restored after, or like after I restore it, or if it was never restored and it's near mint, to me it's still a near mint card. That's my perspective. But do I plan on selling a card that I restored and not tell someone? I'm probably like, that to me is not cool. Like I want to let them know like, hey, this particular card is restored or whatever. And by the way, my stipulation is that this card is raw. I think that if PSA grades a card and it actually shows like the grade and everything like that, to me, I don't need to say anything, because they're buying basically that graded product, and it was PSA's job to validate what type of situation that card is in. So to me, it's the responsibility at that point is on the grading company. if the card's been graded and you're selling it to someone else. But if it's not, if it's raw, I think that, you know, just like a, hey, near mint, but restored, or like whatever that means. Like, I did this to this card. That's what I would do.
Cool.
Who wants to go
Henry?
next?
I'm right there. I mean, I kind of we gone back and forth, boys, in the Instagrams. For me, it's the same thing with like Brandon. So like I think the last point I made in the Instagram DMs was saving these like cool cards from the garbage can. My friend Sunil, one of my best friends, my best man at my wedding, he gave me a bunch of XY era full art cards that are his like childhood cards that are completely just folded in weird ways. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, he was literally about to toss these cards, but like, how cool would it be if I got them like restored for him, gave the cards back to him as like a gift or something, and give that new life to his childhood collection. You know, it's stuff like that's where I think it's positive. But I'm right there with Brandon, as like, there is a line in the sand though. You definitely should have to, you know, at least if you're a good person, explain to someone like, hey, this card's been restored. And then same thing with the graded thing. Like that's where it's kind of difficult for me. I think if I restored the card, I graded the card, and it still came back a 10, I would still disclose that information to the buyer, like, hey, this card's been restored. But then, like, you know, we can get into like the weeds of, you know, is the spray, is the shine,
The polish.
You know, there's a pot, like, there's all these things that people feel some type of way. But I'm right there with Brandon. Like, I mean, I think me and Brandon are thinking of it like, you know, with our hearts as like diehard collectors. So it's hard for us to see, like, you know, all the rest of the negatives, but that's where I stand.
I think it's something that's kind of difficult to argue or debate without having a firm definition of what card restoration is, because everybody kind of has a different definition for it, it seems. For me, like Uncle Shrimp said, like flattening a card or using water to clean it, even alcohol, a little bit of alcohol, if something is not coming off really easily, I don't mind. But past that, for me personally, that's as far as I would go. As a collector, I kind of get where Brandon was going with, like, hey, this is a card he's had forever. He wanted to get it restored to make it look nice. I can like sympathize with that, and it makes sense. I'm just wondering, like, after you're gone, like, where does that card go? And if the real issue for me in like card restoration, I think there's like very definitely like a science to it that people haven't figured out. And the people that haven't figured it out well or don't do it well, we've seen examples of cards and PSA slabs that get 10s or high grades and then like deteriorate inside of that slab later. So I guess it just depends on how well you're doing it. And if it's going to affect the card later, if it's going to change over time, depending on if it's exposed to like a new environment with it, whether it be like heat or something, if it like gets shipped to somewhere in like a tropical climate, or there's just so much unknown. And so I don't know. I'm a little different because, like, you know, I think this card's past restoration. You can't restore this, but I love this. Is like one of my top like cards in my collection. I'll never get rid of this.
Dude,
and I never felt a need. I never felt a need to like want to like touch this up. Even with other cards I have, I just maybe like wipe them down with a microfiber for the most part. Maybe a Q-tip and water, and then I send them to PSA. I'm not trying to like get out creases or, you know, do stuff past that. But it's just, I think the hard part for me is mostly like when people do it and don't tell people, the buyer, that it's there needs to be like a Carfax. Honestly, a card fax where you can see like what's been done to the card, or if PSA is going to grade them and they can identify them, which I think it's hard for them, and that's why we see so many get past them. But if they had a process to like identify that stuff, if they can mark on the label saying this was done to it, or, you know, restored this way, then I don't mind. But yeah, these cards are expensive, and these are the ones that people are restoring are the expensive ones. So I'm not trying to lose thousands of dollars on a card, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a point, and I know this is gonna take away from it a little bit, but it also, to me, kind of it gives me that same feeling, which is like you take a 9, you crack it and you resend it and you get a 10, and then you sell it at a 10. To me, it has like a similar feeling. I'm just making a comment. I'm not making this is not a counter argument like, hey, well, people were being shady all the time. But I just had this thought when you were going through your points, because to me that is just, it's kind of shady as well, but I do think that kind of brings back my point about like, why did the grading company not, annotate something like that? But that was good. That's good stuff, man. I appreciate your inputs, and I totally understand where you're coming from.
Where do I start? How much time do you have, Henry?
Ooh.
Let's hear.
I should have taken some notes because I have four or five different points I want to bring up. But to me, it starts with what Shug was talking about, like the definition, right? Because to me, it's definitely not a black and white type of issue, right? So for example, on one end of the spectrum, you have a microfiber cloth wiping off some dust. Everyone agrees it's fine, right? And then on the opposite side, you've got trimming, inking. Pretty much everyone agrees that's no good, right? And then a lot of the card restoration, the card doctoring, the fixing that's going on right now is somewhere in between, right? And the problem I have with people who do it is that they're doing some things that I think are black and white bad, and some things that I think are in a bit of a gray area. For example, humidor, pressing, heat pen, roller stuff, bit of a gray area. I'm not sure. I can't really make up my mind on it. Polishing, that's black and white altering. I think there's no arguing that. Like you are removing something, even if it's at a micron level, you're removing something from the card that was there when it was printed. That's just as altering, just like trimming. You're removing something that was on the card when it was printed. And so many of these card doctors, they do it all, right? They might fix your bend and then they give it a bit of a polish. But now to me, the card is altered. And the thing that I think a lot of people overlook at the moment, that I think it's a tragedy. How many people are having their cards treated in these ways without thinking long term? Now, your example, Brandon, is very unique. I would put that in a different bucket, right? Because you're saving something that meant a lot to you from an accident, a fire that happened. I think that's different than someone, buying up cards online to then do something to them, or even a regular childhood collection that survived the same way it was 20 years ago over the years, right? I think that's different too. But the grading companies don't allow it. Now, it's a bit complicated. What's okay, what's not okay, right? They're not very clear with it. When they say chemicals, what do they mean, right? All this stuff. But it's pretty obvious that they don't want this stuff. And people are sneaking it past the grading companies currently. Not always. We're seeing more and more examples of cards getting rejected for altering or getting low grades with tag because water damage, altering. You better believe as time goes by, as the years pass, there are people probably right now working on some type of technology as a startup or already as part of PSA or whatever, trying to perfect this detection. 100%. Because there's money to be made. If you can develop something that can detect surface layer being removed or something, you've made big money from PSA. 100%.
There's actually
as we speak. And like if you think of coins, right? Coin collecting. There's like little devices you put the coin on. It tells you exactly what metals are inside. Right? As the years pass, these grading companies will get better at this stuff, and people are doing stuff to their cards right now that at the moment is fine. Sometimes they pass grading, maybe most of the time they pass grading. But you might be doing something to a card right now that 10 years from now will be rejected by the grading companies every single time. And this is the thing. People always talk about the binder copies, right? The childhood cards. Oh, it's not gradable. This wouldn't even be a 6. I'm never going to grade this card. It goes in the binder. Can I share a screen, Henry?
Yeah.
This is something I wanted to show people.
Yep.
Let me see. Share screen. Give me just a second. What I'm trying to say is that... Hold on. Where is it? Oh, there it is. You never know what is gradable one day. This is a card I picked up in 21. It's the glossy Ivy Pikachu. I paid 300 yen. This is one of those examples, Brandon, where I kept it in the original sleeve.
Yeah.
And this was forever just a binder copy. It's with ARS right now, stuck in the Express Limbo submission. But I don't even remember exactly what the condition of this card is on the back. It's not going to grade very well, right? I paid 300 yen back then because I thought it was a cool Pikachu, glossy. I didn't even know it was one of the first TCG cards. Cool card. Stuck into the binder. Suddenly, 2026, everyone's talking about this card. A PSA 6 sold for $2 grand. $2 grand.
That's
a
crazy.
PSA 6. You never know what's going to be worth grading in the future. Now, the one I'm grading, I'm keeping it, but maybe not forever, right? So you have to be really, really careful with like thinking like, oh, this is just a binder copy. This is just binder stuff. You never know what might be gradable one day. And if you do something to those cards right now, not knowing if that's going to be gradable in the future, because it might get rejected in the future, you're going to feel real silly. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when you go through your binders and all those cards are not gradable anymore, ouch. I think people are thinking very short term. And this is not like, and this is not like, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm saying it's a potential future scenario. And in that potential future world, that's also then a world where the vendors, they don't want to buy your raw cards anymore, right? Because then they have to take the risk grading it. So you go to a show, want to sell it raw, people are going to be like, it's not graded, dude. Sorry. All right. So I'd be.
There's people doing that too.
I think that's a risk.
It makes sense.
That's a risk. That is a risk that people overlook.
And I mean, I would say like it is starting to happen now where, I mean, all the older cards, especially like all the gold stars and things like that, there's a lot of cards where people are spending so much money that they're just not willing to take the risk on those types of cards. So I definitely understand your stance on that, as far as like there is a trend, there's a line where there's going to be a reckoning per se on where, like, if this card can be or cannot be authenticated in certain numbers are at risk and stuff like that. I could see that. I understand that. So that was definitely a great take for that one.
Yeah, and then like the problem as well is that, like, again, all this stuff is untested. Jug mentioned it a little bit, right? Like the different things people try, but nobody knows what happens long term to these cards. Even I did some research because I knew eventually I'd talk about this on the live. So I watched some of those Card Doctor YouTube channels and live streams. They even mentioned Shuggnaste at some point. It was pretty funny.
Damn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What a legend.
I think it was with one of your submissions, something I forget. Either way,
Oh, okay.
But like it was interesting, right? And even they're saying we don't know what happens long term. I think it's crazy, right? Like.
Yeah.
I know, Henry, when you talked about this with Heart Attack on your live stream, you basically said, well, if it's graded, I don't care, right? Or like Brandon, you said, well, the grading company's passed it. And I say, like, you don't care until it affects you. Like, let's say that Gengar Pikachu card you bought, your Grail, right? You get it graded. You keep it. There it is. Beautiful card. You take care of it. You protect it well. But 5 years from now, a little crease starts to show. You're like, oh, well, I didn't do anything. Right, I took care of this card. Then a year later, it's a bit more noticeable. Turns out someone before you bought it fixed it. I don't think this will happen like all the time. It's like I don't even know if it's going to happen, but it could. And I think at that point, I think you would probably care very much. Don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But like people don't care until it affects them, or until you go to a show, buy a raw card, send it to PSA, comes back as altered. Well, that sucks. Right.
I'll share a data point on your, like, basically the concern of what can happen later on, just because I've bought a raw card that has done some deterioration just in a sleeve. And that's because it did have water damage. And I'm not saying that like all the cards that are graded are going to have the same situation. I mean, sorry, all the cards that were restored and graded are going to have a similar situation. But I'm just giving a case study of something where this has actually happened to me. Where I bought a sleeved Gengar card and the card did have water damage. And what happened was there was some mold that created, like there's some mold or something that started to grow from that card, and it started to expand. So if I didn't actually open that binder and take a look at that card, the mold would have stretched over to the rest of my cards inside of that binder. So it is definitely a possibility that there's some moisture or something like that gets captured in something that could cause it to expand and get worse. So just showing that that is a situation that could happen.
Yeah, and
and
the card doctors will say, well, make sure you heat press it long enough to remove the moisture and all that stuff. But it's just there's too many unknowns right now, and there's thousands of people just going with it. I watched a YouTube video a couple weeks ago. This guy, a super cool guy, cool channel, he's doing like all the WotC binder sets, crazy stuff. I think it's almost complete now. But he sent some of his chase cards, and because he's doing binder set, like all these crazy sets, he's going for like plate cards, damage cards, right? And he said like a reverse holo legendary collection Charizard, Shining Charizard, Crystal Kingdra, a couple e-reader Umbreon holos to get restored for his binders so they look better. First of all, I think subjective, but some of them came back and I think look worse. Some of them do look a whole lot better, right? But that's like, I'm like, man, you just sent these off to someone and you have no clue if something down the line becomes a problem. And as well, what I said earlier, maybe these cards are now forever not gradable. And I don't know, man. And when people do it with their childhood cards, like it hurts my soul. Right? Why? So that crease looks a little less noticeable in a binder. What's the difference? Sleeve binder, it looks great.
And just for the record, my situation was a little different because I knew that if I didn't get my cards adjusted, I would have to throw them away because of the extent of the damage. It would have affected the rest of my binder, like the card I was talking about before. So I knew that, and my situation was to save them, not necessarily to, amp them up just because I want them to look nicer. Just throwing it out.
No, I get what you're saying. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Can I add something really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Two things. One, where Ibex was talking about technology becoming a thing where they can detect it easily 100% of the time. I don't know. There's a video on YouTube about SGC, and they say they have there's like a machine they can put the card in, and it can look inside the card at like a microscopic level to look at like structural changes. And it seemed like they kind of brushed over it really quickly, but like they might not use that in their consideration when grading if the card visually looks good. But that seems like a technology that might already be out there, just not applied, and maybe it's just takes too long to do or whatever. But contrary to to that point as well, and like them in the future being able to do that, and then all these cards being effective. Ibex, you might be familiar with this email, but there was an email sent out to several people, not everybody, that had PSA memberships like 6 months ago, where they offered a cleaning service. They said cleaning and polishing. And would people be like up for that if they did it? So they were like testing the waters, like, hey, would you be down for card cleaning and polishing like scratches? And then people like freaked out. I did a video on it, and people freaked out, and they were like, what? Like PSA is clearly against this in their terms of service. But maybe they change their minds as the market like sentiment shifts, and maybe in the future they just grade these cards, or they offer the service themselves.
They followed up on social media and said that what they're talking about is like microfiber type wiping.
They specifically said like removing scratches.
Like, I remember that statement.
Yeah. I think they were testing the waters, and they were like, "Oh, whoops, whoops, sorry, we just meant wiping stuff down." Like, okay,
damage control.
If they could make another couple bucks on a submission, they would definitely. I think.
I do see them having the close. They're already closing a loop, but I could see them, from PSA specifically saying, "Hey, we will take your card, we will clean your card, we will grade your card, and we'll sell it for you, or we'll store it for you in a vault." Like I could totally see this happening. Whether I like that, I don't like that. That's for sure. But just throwing it out there. If anyone would do it, definitely them.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add as well is that, Henry, you've brought up the example of like, preserving the artwork, bringing back glory, the shine to the cards. And like, those are the same arguments that the card doctors will use, are doing it. But to me, they lose, it sounds very noble, but then to me, they just lose all credibility when they send the stuff to PSA. Right? Because now it's all about deception. You're trying to deceive PSA. Like all your noble claims, doing it for the history, for the artwork, right? To make these old childhood cards shine again. It all falls out the window when you send the stuff to PSA or other grading companies.
How about if they're sending it to PSA to like put it on a pedestal, like put it into a nice little shiny protector to put that how they felt on a pedestal, because that's what I think. I think with the graded slab is like the final pedestal for most collectors. Like I don't know. I'm just
I think, and there's two parts to that. It's also to show like, oh look, I was able to turn a 4 into a 7 or something like that, or
For sure.
whatever into whatever based on that. And
that's
and
part
I
of
will
why
say,
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I will say, as you mentioned, there's that gray area. One thing I've seen on some restoration things is where they like change the hollow to where all the scratches on the hollow just kind of, due to their polishing or whatever they're doing, they're able to, not only do they get rid of the scratches that were on it, but they also make it like a lot brighter and like make it pop more. I'm not just for the record, I'm not for that.
Yeah.
There was a little bit more on the safer side. If someone was like, and we mentioned this before, like there's some residue that came off when I was separating card from a deck. Like, there's a little glitter or whatever on the back. Like if someone takes that glitter off, I'm cool with that. But yeah, if someone was like changing my hollows and by removing all the scratches from the hollows, yeah, that sounds out of control. Like it sounds a little bit extreme for that.
Yeah. Again, those hollows pop more because the varnish is removed or partially removed, which is it's so ironic, right? We're doing this to preserve the artwork, to bring these cards back their former glory. They polish them, they shine more, pop more, but in doing that, they've removed part of the protective layer. You've literally made it more susceptible to damage now. Great, right?
Yeah.
So the polishing to me is so black and white, no good, right? The other stuff, I'm not sure, but
if I could touch on Unk's, Unk made a comment about like there's a concept of wabi sabi. I do want to touch on that one because I think since we are the Japan crew here, this is really cool. I really like this idea. If no one has seen it, and I've seen it where they like repair a lot of pots and pans and things using gold sometimes to like fuse those items back together. You can take like broken things and put those things back, and that's awesome. Like I really love that idea when it comes to like a restoration. I also like the idea of a restoration with a signature of some sort. Like if your restorer restored an item, but actually having a signature on it that makes it very obvious that it was them that did the restoration, and it would technically never pass a PSA or a slab submission or whatever, but still,
right.
That is this to me. That's similar in concept of like those people who do art on top of cards. Like they might make a half art, a full art, or something. That's basically you're paying an artist, and so that could make the idea of a graded item and just extend, or like an adjusted item or cleaned item. Just basically, you have an artist doing art on a card.
I like that take a lot.
And that's more like what paint like traditional painting restoration is like as well. Like if they have to fix paint on something, they typically, or maybe I shouldn't say typically, but I've seen them many times. There's some YouTube channels that are super chill to watch, by the way, very relaxing, like professional painting, restoration, stuff like that. And what they often do is when they have to add paint, they'll do it in an art style that up close, you can clearly tell it's different from the original. But from, gallery distance away, it looks nice, right? But no, that would never pass as original, right? And so I think that's very different from the way card restoration is handled nowadays, where it's all about trying to sneak it past the professional authentication and inspection company, right? I don't know. That's so where I have an issue. But
so like because I remember when I went into the group chat with you guys and I was just talking about card restoration and like I was met with not the reaction I thought I was gonna get. That was like my first moment of like, oh shit, like the diehard collectors don't fuck with this, right? But for me, coming from like the sneaker world where we do sneaker repairs for game worn Jordans that the sole's literally falling apart, that if we do not repair these things, they're going to turn to dust. And I come from a car family where old school cars restoring to like almost the original bodies and polishing the motors and finding parts to make these cars run like they used to. So I brought that all into the card world. I'm like, what's the difference? We go auction these cars off, And we all know they're restored. They all know that card, it didn't come off the assembly line yesterday. We all know that they're parts that are very similar to what was made back in the day. So
That's where the
was
grading
where
is
I was-
relevant, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where, like, a car, even collectible cars, are not graded on a 1 to 10 scale, where a tiny scratch is the difference between max value and like 50% value.
Mhm.
Right? And so, like, it's all about the people, sneaking it past the grading companies. And then the collector on the other end is deceived, right? Because someone down the line will not disclose it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's a bit of a cop-out as well, the card restorers who say, like, well, I always tell people that this was restored. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Nice, good job. But, like, that person that just bought it, are they going to disclose it? Maybe, maybe not. So I don't know. I think that's it's just so slimy. A lot of it is so slimy. At least right now, the way it's done. It's sold as this, like, noble, beautiful, cool thing, but then, the collectors who don't know are left holding it back at the end. Even if nothing happens to that restored card in the PSA 9 or whatever, even if it stays in that condition for the rest of eternity, there are still collectors who just don't want a card that was touched like that, right? And
Yeah.
this is something that you talked about with Heart Attack. You brought up this, hypothetical scenario where you're presented with two cards, both same card, same price, they look exactly the same grade. One was restored, one is untouched. Which one do you pick? And your answer in
Cheaper.
Heart Attack's answer was, no, you both said, we don't care.
Oh, we don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, you said, we don't care, right? But I'll ask you this question again. I'm telling you, I don't care is not an answer. Pick one.
The
Which one
cheaper.
do you pick?
The cheaper.
No, they're same price. Same price.
Same price.
Exactly
Oh, same price.
One
Oh, same
restored,
price.
one unrestored.
Yeah, obviously the one that is not restored. Yeah.
Exactly. Every
Yeah.
collector would pick the unrestored one. The only person picking the restored one is maybe a card doctor trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Every other person would pick the unrestored copy. Every person in this hobby. But people are not informed nowadays, oftentimes, and they end up with this stuff that has been restored. And I think that's extremely slimy.
Yeah, I agree 100% with not telling people that, but I think with us talking about it more and bringing this into the light, like, that's going to bring more education of people asking these style questions. Because I don't know if you guys watched the Sacramento Card Show vlog that I did. Eric's brother bought a Blaine's Charizard in Japanese, and the shine on that thing looked crazy. And I was like, huh. Yeah. I've never seen a Blaine's Charizard shine like this one. Yeah. And I even said in the video, I was like, shout out Dark Ibex, but hopefully this one's not restored. But like, yeah, like when me and Heart Attack were saying that stuff, like, for me, I'm speaking like specifically for my collection. Yes, I'm thinking very, very short term. Like, I'm not even thinking about what's going to happen in the next week. But for my collection, I'm always going to try to grab the cheaper option. And if I can grab this card for $1,000 off and it's restored, like, and it doesn't bother me. But that's just for my collection. And like I said, it may come off the wrong way, but I'm not thinking about the guy that's gonna get this card in 500 years, if Pokemon's even here. And then at the end of the day, these cards are cardboard, right? They are gonna deteriorate. They are gonna hold some type of, like, this they're not protected in here. They're gonna stay like this forever, even if they're restored or not. So we don't know what these cards are gonna look like in 100 years, 200 years. The ones that weren't restored. So I don't know. Like, I understand everyone's points here, but that's just how I handle my collection. And
I also,
yeah.
Did you say Dark Charizard, or did you say Blaine's
Charizard?
I'm just looking at them to see if they're shinier, like if one's shinier than the other. This one's definitely not like restored, but
bro, watch the vlog and pause.
Henry, I think the age argument is super interesting, because that's something, like, this hobby is very new. 30 years is nothing.
Nothing.
Right? But even if you look at trading cards, others like the tobacco cards, like the Honus Wagner, like the most famous one, right? If one of those surfaced and it looked brand new, people were like, well, what the fuck? Right?
Yeah.
you expect those to look a certain age. Coin collecting, 2,000-year-old coins, the patina is what makes it valuable. That's the history. It's supposed to look old. It's 2,000 years old, right? And so, like, if cards naturally age over time, that's just part of it. Then that will just be normal. And so, like, I think you know, and I also think, like, you know, with cardboard, if you take care of them in your home, climate controlled, not much is gonna happen. Right? Enough time it passes, sure. Right?
I mean, I'm more confident in a card that's not restored.
For sure. Yeah, there's more confidence.
I say it does vary from hobby to hobby. It seems like coins, you're not allowed to polish or clean. You can't grade them after that's happened. But comic books, CGC has been grading comic books forever, for just as long as PSA has been grading cards, and they offer like a pressing service. So it's like very common with that. With it just, yeah, it varies hobby to hobby, I guess. I don't like the card comparison that people bring up about like, oh, it's polishing the cards the same. It's like, well, if you had a 50-year-old car with original paint, it would go for a lot more with, you know, versus a car that had restored paint.
Facts. Yeah.
And again, that car that's been polished is not graded on a 1 through 10 scale. By a company, independent third party, based on like a tiny little, you know, one scratch, one piece of whitening, one whatever, right? It's so different. It's so different.
I'm just not like I'm just not an all guy. Like, I'm not a generalization guy. Like, I think we can take pieces of what everyone said and come to agreement that like there is positives and there's negatives. But I think like it's so like, you do card restoration, you're a piece of shit, or you do, or if you don't, like, you're on this like high horse. Like, I don't like the two parties like wanting to go to war with each other 24/7 in every single comments, because I also did card restoration YouTube search, and it's just polarizing comment sections and people just being really nasty. I'm like, we can all agree to disagree on some things, but there is positives, there is negatives, and I think like us talking right now, you know, showed just that.
Yeah, that's way too wholesome, Henry. Sorry. Polishing is bad. It's just as bad as inking. It's just as bad as trimming. Just stop.
The hobby will always be tribalism in the hobby too. People will always say vintage versus modern, PSA versus tag, polishing versus no. It'll like never end.
PSA versus tag is crazy.
Henry, no, you make a good point though. I think one of this thing about this topic is that a lot of it is in that middle ground, gray area, right?
Yeah,
and people have different opinions on it, and that's cool, right? That's fine. And I when I say like, what happens in the future, we don't know. I probably nothing. It's probably going to be fine. But it's the unknown that I have a problem with. And so like, go ahead.
One point I'll share is I think, you know, what you brought up, Nick, was a great point about eventually we're going to get to a time where the grading companies are going to be able to catch on and detect these types of services that these people are providing. But I also think that this is the same point. And one thing I really appreciate was we recently had all of those like beta test leaks, or the beta test cards that came out that were actually fake. I think once people caught on to that, they're starting to see how people are printing and how they can see the recency of when those cards were printed. And I think that there's going to become an innovation circle that's also going to happen on the back end of that, where people recognize what these grading companies, the parameters that they refuse at that point when they start detecting these things. And I think that the people who are doing the restorations will they will govern themselves and narrow down the things that they're doing, or they'll start becoming a lot more transparent on the categories of options that they're allowing or that they're providing to people. I do think that there is a huge benefit in this, like the, you know, them versus us type of idea, because it allows for a lot more transparency when people are restoring their cards. It forces them to be more honest with what they're doing. And hopefully I like this conversation because we're getting into a lot of things most people aren't really thinking about. They start thinking about what exactly are they sending their card for? Like, are they just trying to get their card, you know, the debris or whatever, the hair that was on it, getting it off, brushing that off? Are you trying to make a new card by coloring the borders and getting rid of all the whitening by cleaning or making paint, putting paint on it and stuff? you're right that like I think everyone is hitting a point where there is this gray area. The gray area is honestly not transparent at this point. So I think what really has to happen is we have to demand as customers, we have to demand more transparency in what we're getting. And then as the grading companies catch on, we need more information from them on what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, so that we can start to restrict those guidelines. So I'm looking forward to all of it, to be honest.
And I like Nick's timeline in 50 years, 100 years. I mean, whatever, what was I gonna say? And like every hobby changes, right? With enough time. Like I'm sure maybe our kids are gonna laugh and be like, yeah, remember when Dad was arguing on a live about card restoration? Like, yeah, now Walmart does card restoration. Like we don't know what the future has in store. Heck, even in the next like 5 to 10 years.
Sure.
It can be completely normalized, and we're gonna be like, holy crap! Like, but I don't know. It's a fun conversation.
Yeah. I gotta take on the next step.
I want to plead to the people who are thinking about restoring their childhood binder copies because they want nicer looking binder copies in their binder right now. Just think about it. Is it really worth it? You might not want to create these right now, maybe in the future. And by sending them off to a card restorer, you might turn them into never gradable copies. I really plead, be careful. In my opinion, a lot of cards right now are getting ruined. Now, again, like Brandon's example, very different, saving it from a fire. I do think that's different, but you'd have to live with the fact that maybe that Mewtwo will never be graded, right? Potentially, or will never be a gradable card, right? And I think too many people don't think ahead for what could happen in the future.
Yeah.
Hey, I got the next step, guys. Get ready. People are going to start doing box restorations. They're going to start doing sealed restorations.
Isn't that already happening recently?
Hey man, I'll take your ripped.
Get a little lotion for the plastic wrap.
Yeah, we'll seal it. We'll reseal it. We'll put the packs back in, nice and neat.
That's a Mimic Brew when we're on a live. He goes, he's like, just stuff it with cards and throw it in an acrylic case. It looks the same.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had to take 2, stuff it with toilet paper, seal it up.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, it's I don't know. I want to have more of these like hard conversations, because like I said, I think all of us are having this argument for the right reasons, and like Brandon said, we're pushing the bad actors to double check.
But that's the thing though, right? Like when you say bad actors, to many people, they're not, right? They're like really like it's just different opinions.
Different opinions, right? Yeah.
And I say, to me, you're only a bad actor if you're sending this stuff to PSA. In my opinion, like that's when you cross the hard no line. In my opinion, but everything else is, if you want to restore the stuff that's in your binder, more power to you. But once it gets slapped, snuck past the grading companies, breaking their TOS, eventually it will land on the market somewhere, and like a genuine collector is stuck holding the bag.
I already know Nick's answer, but if let's just say there was only one of those cards left. I know this is an extreme example, but there's only one of those cards left, and you had to save it, Nick.
Of course, but that is a very different scenario, right? That is
what do you mean save it though?
Different. Now we're talking about the Mona Lisa, right?
Yeah, the Mona Lisa.
There's not a card right now that is in that category.
Yeah.
I don't think I would if there was a 1-of-1 card that needed, like, I don't think a card needs to be restored unless it's
turning
like
to dust though. It's turning to dust. It's like lit. It's on life support.
I guess if that card can do that, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was the hot takes. I know Shug likes the lukewarm takes. I was waiting for the hot takes to come, Shug.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That was not as hot as I thought, I guess. Dude, I swear, like 4 years ago, people were like, not even 4 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, people would argue against me with some of those takes though. Yeah.
Oliver didn't even blink.
Oh, yeah.
I think Oliver and I agree on a lot of stuff though. Yeah. Maybe it just was maybe it wasn't
that's what I
a
felt
spicy
too.
take.
Yeah, I felt you guys just agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I know, because I've lived in Japan for a long time, why, some of the origin of your like English versus Japanese stance. But if for the people that live here, I live in Hawaii, so I do get the feeling that they're like, oh, it's Japanese. Like there's either two camps. One camp is like, oh, it's Japanese, awesome, like we got to get it. Usually they're talking about exclusives. And then if you are talking about like a card that was printed in English and they had to choose between the English card or Japanese card, they're going to pick the English card all day long. So there is a lot of bias here where people really do think that the stronger market will be and is and will be English, or I guess English print market.
It may be, like, in our lifetime, it may be, but like if you just extrapolate it out until as long as you can go, I think Japan will last longer with Pokemon as a whole.
1000%.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh, I think we all agree. We are,
Yeah.
kind of the Japan
100%.
hands.
We've all had
Like,
pretty good exposure
Pokemon,
to Japan.
Pokemon might
yeah.
die around the world, and there'll still be manhole covers in Pokemon manhole covers in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. How do you think I feel when I bring up Korean cards and people just start throwing up around me? I'm like, did I food bad or something? You guys puking.
That's funny.
Korean cards are pretty nice. They're pretty
Yeah,
cool.
no,
I mean, you were one of the first to Chinese, like back in, I remember when you were talking about Chinese cards a couple of years ago, and everybody's like, ugh, Chinese, like nobody liked Chinese cards. And now they've been like the biggest thing in the last year.
But I'm always, dude, if you guys haven't caught on, I just say stupid shit, and sometimes they come true, sometimes they don't. But I believe it. I believe it with my whole heart, though. I'm not saying anything for like fluff or like, for the views. I just like tell you guys exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, very transparent. Like at the time, I still wanted to participate in the hobby, and the Chinese cards were really cheap. And I saw those Sun and Moon tag team cards, and I was like, why are these $1? Shout out to Jordan, JTR6. He's the one that put me on to Chinese. I'll give him all the flowers. But I was like, I still want to participate. I'm broke as hell, but I could still buy these, 5 cards for $5. And I was met with the throw up emojis and the the mad emojis. But yeah, look at we're here at 1.3K for a Chinese exclusive card. So it's insane, dude. So I mean, just bringing it all back to like the beginning of this live is like,
I need one.
Yeah, you need one, bro. Just like beginning of this live, like you don't know what is going to pop. Like we just don't know. It's maybe there's the Spanish. I mean, I'm with the Spanish booster boxes. Maybe the Spanish market takes off once we get that big Latin American boom that's coming next year, or with Gen 10. So who knows, dude? You might see a full Spanish collection behind me, which you already do. I have a bunch of Spanish booster boxes, but it's fun, dude. It's fun to
all
always,
Pokemon. All Pokemon needs to do is do what they did with the Chinese market and just do language exclusives in any market where is going to take off.
100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
Luchador, Poncho, Pikachu
goes crazy.
Dude,
Go
over.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it'd be awesome.
We'll get some Swedish Pokemon, Nick.
Swiss
Pokemon.
I made that mistake the other day.
That's common. It's okay. I'm used to it.
What animals are you guys known for in Switzerland?
Ibex.
Ibex? Oh, the ram. What is it, like a ram?
Alpine Ibex. Yeah.
Alpine Ibex.
Mountain goat with the
okay.
big curved horns.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see a language exclusive.
There's already Pokemon. Is it Go-Goat or something? It kind of goes that direction.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, not the best one.
No, I agree, dude. I hope that they continue with this language exclusives, but the thing is, it's like a little different with the Chinese government and their arrangements with Pokemon. From what I was told, so that's why it's so strong, and of course, like all the money in China is a little different than I think Mexico and Spain, a little bit different.
Could I give I don't know how much time do we have left here?
I'm
good on time.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up.
I have maybe another 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah. Cool.
I would just give a little bit of an atmospheric update on what's going on in the world, since this is what I have to track. Just if anyone wasn't aware, right now the US dollar to yen rate is looking close to 158, 160. So this is the highest it's ever been. I would highly recommend, if you can get yourself to Japan, and if you have the opportunity to buy some stuff off the market, your US dollar is extremely strong right now. I would also share that from an international stance, based on the Strait of Hormuz situation that's going on, it's not necessarily there is a lot of fuel situation or impacts that are to specifically Japan and Korea. China is also feeling the import strain from a timeline stance. So what that tells me is that from a what your money can buy, you're in a great your moment is probably the next 3 months, as far as what the strength of, if you are holding dollar, your dollar is probably gonna be strong for at least the next 3 months. I would also suspect that from the technology stance, helium is heavily imported from the Strait of Hormuz. So helium affects the technology, or the all of the chips that are being manufactured run off of that. So from an economic stance, a lot of the countries' currencies are probably going to be hurt by that. Specifically, Korea, because they have such heavy chip production. China. So what does that mean to everyone in the Pokemon market? It means that you basically, your dollar is probably going to be pretty darn strong, and it's only going to get stronger for the next couple of months due to these economic impacts.
Damn. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for the
Buy yen.
Bye. Hell yeah. Do we have any last things to talk about before we get out of here, boys?
24-hour live stream. I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
I have an ARS submission coming back today sometime. I've been waiting. It might. I was quietly listening if the show is up at my door, but so far not yet. But it's probably gonna get here soon. But
hell yeah, video soon.
Are you gonna do a video?
I think so. Yeah. I was also gonna do a blind reveal, but I think I'll just do a post reveal. I'll look at them first myself to see if it's worth making a video.
18 plus.
It's too brutal. I won't make a video.
Late night.
Those do well when you just get slaughtered.
That's true.
Everyone's
That's true.
Oh yeah, I feel way good about myself.
There's a no rarity Blastoise in there, super beat up. And I'm happy I have it without it having gone. Well, I don't know, right? But hopefully it hasn't gone through a humidor press polish machine first. I'm joking.
Dude, Japan itself is a humidor.
That's true.
It's my no rarity.
That's why it's always climate control in here.
Ibex wakes up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. He's like, I think a card in my binder's been repaired.
Oh shit!
Nightmare.
It's been pressed. Oh my god!
It's nightmare of Kurt coming
through
in with
his
cards.
It's like, where is that? It's good. No, it's good. It's good, man.
Yeah, Unc, by the way, no, you actually don't want to tell any Japanese suppliers, because they're just going to increase the price of all the cards and then sell it to you at a higher price. It's better that only you know, so that way they're still basing their price off the yen, and then you'll just buy it off the same price of yen. That's what keeps the payoff strong, not necessarily telling the Japan side of the house.
I bet you most suppliers know this too. If they're big suppliers, I bet you they know.
Yeah. It's the same situation as the I call it the Trump tax, but they're just gonna factor that price into the standard price as they export.
100%.
Yeah. So what's a way to capitalize on that, Brandon? For us Americans, is there a way to, besides going to Japan?
Well, as Shug mentioned, you buy from Mercari, you buy in the yen, you buy from sites where you can buy it in yen. That's where you get your benefit. If you buy it in US dollars off of eBay or something like that, then you're benefiting the locals, which, hey, that's good. I mean, I am in full support of supporting Japan. So it just depends on how you want to look at it.
Do I have to use a VPN to purchase on Mercari, Japan?
You need a proxy.
There's
Buy or they charge you a little fee, but yeah, you can buy off of that still through a proxy.
No buyer
Okay.
protection.
No buyer
Basically
protection.
zero. Basically
If you just
zero.
want a couple things, you can hit me up and I'll do it for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I usually go to Japan like once or twice. Well, like nowadays I'm starting to go more frequently, but I go to Japan about once a month or so. So
Damn. So I'll let you know, Brandon. I will. I mean, I talk to Brandon every day. All right, guys. Let's get out of here. It's already 9 o'clock here at night. So, thank you guys for coming on and shooting the shit. As always, that was fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
Always.
Do this every month.
Oh, dude, I'm down. We
I'm
gotta
down.
get more hot takes. I'm just gonna steal your takes, Shug, from the weekly Weedle. So
My
just
sweet
kidding.
lukewarm takes.
Well, I can't have any of those takes with Eric because he just sits there and just takes my takes the lashings. But yeah, thanks guys again for popping on, and thank you everyone in the chat for being here, participating, all that good stuff. So we'll catch you guys hopefully next month. We'll make it happen. I know you guys have been asking in the Discord like all the time, so we'll get on a little schedule. All right, guys, we'll
Thanks,
talk to you guys later. Of course, later.